Good evening. My name is Cynthia Lee. I'm glad to be with you tonight. I am the founder and administrator of the Mystical Order of the White Rose, which I'll be telling you more about later. I'd like to start with telling you a bit about myself. But before we do that, I would like to lead us in a song prayer that has movements that go along with it. The words are, by our lives be we spirit, by our hearts be we human, by our eyes be we open, and by our hands be we whole. And the first line, by our lives be we spirit, your hands go up. The second one, by our hearts be we human, your hands go on your heart. Then your hands go up around your eyes. By our eyes we open. And by our hands be whole, you join hands in the classic posture of prayer. Okay, let me see if I can manage to sing this for you. The author of it is Ferron, F-E-R-R-O-N. She is a Canadian songwriter and musician. Okay, here we go. By our lives be we spirit, and by our hearts be we human, and by our eyes be we open, and by our hands be we whole. That didn't go too badly. I'm an American, and I live in what is called the Deep South of the United States, in the state of Mississippi. I live in a very large, very drafty house built in the 1850s. I'm surrounded by 5 acres of pine, oak, and magnolia tree woodland. Our property is next door to a large lake that is also a bird and alligator sanctuary. I find great joy in being near the lake and walking around it. The sky and the lake are always shifting in their colors and movement. I moved to this remote and very flat part of the United States in about 2 years ago, in 2013, to join my then fiance, Richard. He and I were married in an outdoor chapel that overlooks the lake in the summer of 2013. Richard is a retired physical therapist and an artist. He paints in acrylic and watercolor, and he makes metal tabletop sculptures as well as full-scale sculptures, metal sculptures. I retired from a career in history museum administration in Arkansas in 2012. I had lived in the general region of Northwest Arkansas for 20 years before I relocated here to Mississippi. Northwest Arkansas is where I met and married my first husband, Johnny. He died in the late months of 2011, and but we had 12 years together, which was a great blessing. I have several fur babies, 4 cats, and a dog named Rose, but I have no biological offspring. My spiritual journey began more than 50 years ago at age 12, and it has had many twists and turns. All of them involved a combination of learning and experience that developed my intuitive abilities and my confidence in them, and in the benevolent other dimensional beings, energies, and worlds that those intuitive abilities enabled me to connect with. I have a normal side too. I was baptized, confirmed, and brought up in the Episcopal Church, and I am currently very active in it. I love my church family and being able to worship and socialize with them. I sing in the choir, work with the altar guild, and help out with the church's thrift store and women's group ministries. Fortunately, the Episcopal Church is progressive enough to accept a lot of diversity in its members, including mystics and eccentrics like me. I founded the Mystical Order of the White Rose in 2008 in response to intuitive promptings and guidance. It is a mostly online spiritual community with members and supporters in the United States, United Kingdom, and a chapter called, or branch, called the Mystical Order of the White Rose Skeet of Mary Magdalene in Finland, which is managed by Marco Millenniumi. The Mystical Order of the White Rose has been both a divine assignment and a harmless personal hobby for me. But now that I am retired from full-time employment, I am able to devote much more time and energy to it. The core values of the Mystical Order of the White Rose are love, peace, joy, and wisdom. With its internet presence and its commitment to honoring and celebrating multiple religious, spiritual, and wisdom traditions, and its extensive use of secular as well as sacred poetry and prose, the Mystical Order of the White Rose is very modern and a very modern expression of mysticism and monasticism. But I also draw deep nourishment and inspiration from monastic, spiritual, and mystical traditions and teachings of the past. It's important to be connected to our past, even while we are creating the future. To give you an example of my commitment to honoring the past as well as very modern expressions of spirituality and mysticism. I'm going to tell a story on myself. About several decades ago, in the space of 9 days, I attended the first international conference on Gregorian chant in Washington, D.C., and the annual conference of the Women's Alliance for Theology, Ethics, and Ritual, which was a leading edge group that had been active in creation spirituality and women's spirituality. So I'm very, very attuned to not only myriad traditions, but the past and the future. The new monasticism is a movement that has been around since the late 20th century and is still going strong into the 21st century. It sprang from Christian thought organizations, pioneers, individuals, and naturally enough, many, I would say most of the new monastic communities that I'm aware of are Christian in their basic foundation, although they tend to be very inclusive and ecumenical. The mystical order of the White Rose is unusual in that while it is indeed a new monastic community, it is not Christian identified. Some of our members, including me, the founder, are Christians, but I am committed to making the benefits and riches of monastic practices and lifeways available to my fellow mystics, monastics, contemplatives, and creatives of all faiths and none, especially those who may not have a strong positive relationship with Christianity or with Buddhism, which is another faith path that has very strong monastic traditions and organizations. The mystical order of the White Rose offers guidance, information, inspiration, and community to those who would like to bring monastic and spiritual disciplines into their lives, and those who resonate with interfaith and interspirituality movements. And last but not least, who also resonate with the emergence or re-emergence of the energies of the divine feminine in Western culture. Interspirituality is not well known or well understood, and even among mystics and contemplatives. One of its founders, Brother Wayne Teasdale, has a quote that I like to use to explain it. He says, in a nutshell, interspirituality means that when you have entered the world of the heart, the question of who is right or wrong with regard to belief or creed is pretty much irrelevant. I publish a newsletter that I call Mystical Musings from the Mystical Order of the White Rose, that is published on an As the Spirit Moves Me basis. It is free of charge. Just send me an email at mysticalwhiterose@gmail.com if you would like to get on our mailing list. Our website can be found at www.mysticalwhiterose.com. Brother Sean Bradley has scheduled me for 2 more programs this year. He's very good at roping people in to do these programs, let me tell you. One of the upcoming programs this year for me will be in late November, and the other one will be in late December. I would like to devote those programs to sharing information about the Mystical Order of the White Roses daily office practices and its rule of life, if you will, and guiding precepts. I would also like to focus, these will be separate programs. I'm not going to jumble them all together in one or in both. And the second December program will have to do with creating your own rule of life, your own monastic rule of life, and your own devotional resources, especially in connection with those provided by the Mystical Order of the White Rose, if you want to have that kind of foundation to work with. And this resource is one that I would recommend that you make tactile, something that you can hold and look at with your hands. But I know that there are many among you who are so internet-based and digitally based that you might choose to do this, online as well. I believe the mind and body respond better to being able to hold words and ideas in your hands. But I'm old-fashioned, and really whatever works best for you is the best way to go. And we will explore that in more detail. I have a final prayer I would like to share with you, a nighttime compline kind of prayer. It is from Edward Hayes, and here it is. O guardian of galaxies, mother of the cosmos, and father of stars beyond counting, may we sleep in you tonight. Bright blessings. Farewell. Good night.